Hi everybody, this is your coach, Back in the Groove coach, Linda G. Robert, with tip number 3. Now, if you're following me, you know that I've just got back from Mexico last Thursday. Hasn't even been a week yet. Today is Monday. And I was supposed to come back on the 25th. Now today's the 23rd. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I'm doing these videos as part of my self-isolation and to help you get back in the groove again while you're also having to self-isolate more than likely. And tip number 3 is to visualize. Now, I'm not going to repeat every tip because I'm going to be doing tips for the next 14 days. This is tip number 3, visualize. So you'll have to go back and check out the other tips. When I say visualize, I mean closing your eyes and imagining that you are living the life that you want, that you are meeting the people that you want, that you are working in that ideal job. And let me explain why that's so beneficial. Now, I mentioned that I just got back from Mexico, and it's true, I did. This morning I'm closing my eyes, visualizing Mexico, visualizing how active I actually was in Mexico, how I went out every day and enjoyed the sun so much. I could feel it. So as I'm saying it out loud right now, but when I'm visualizing, I am more imagining it. But as I'm saying it out loud right now, I can feel the heat, and I could see myself walking to those favorite little restaurants that I loved. And I could see myself trying to practice Spanish, although I sucked at it, but I did my best to practice Spanish. I see myself doing that. Now, I'm using a real live situation, a real thing that happened in my life. But, you know, when you visualize, it doesn't have to be something that you've actually experienced. It could be something you want to experience. Now, I happen to like the experience of Mexico, and I do want to go back. But maybe you've never experienced something that you like, so you might need to be creative and experience and visualize your ideal job and seeing you go into your ideal building and your ideal work environment and greet your ideal workers, co-workers, you know, depending on the position you have. Perhaps you're an executive and you're greeting the new staff that are coming in, and you're greeting your director. So you want to visualize with as many senses as possible. You want to see what this building looks like, smell the building if there's a smell to it. You know, if there are any, like in Mexico, there are sights and there are sounds and there are colors and there are the sounds of the ocean, for example. I remember hearing those waves. You want to add as much senses as you can to your visualization. And, you know, you can use visualization for different reasons. You know, some people use a visualization to help them rest. And that's okay. You can use a visualization, a guided imagery, a guided visualization to help you rest. I will often do some meditations where it's a guided visualization. But I'm also going to encourage you to do visualization to plan what you want to experience. Now, in the last few videos, I talked about what do you want, and I talked about, and in tip number 2, we talked about values. So if you've done the work of asking yourself what do you want, and if you've really looked at or tried to really pinpoint some of your values, you might want to incorporate that in your visualization as well. You know, if I value freedom, because I do value freedom. I value freedom because I want to be able to go where I want to go, when I want to do it. I want to say what I want to say and not feel restricted. So I do value freedom. If I want to value freedom and I want to experience freedom, then it's going to help me to visualize what what that would feel like, what that would be like in my life. So you want to incorporate your values in your visualizations as much as possible. All right, so that's tip number 3, visualize and use it to your advantage. Now I visualize, let's see, well, it depends. Okay, so sometimes I'll visualize before a presentation. You know, I do a lot of workshops. Well, maybe not right now because of being self-isolated. I actually had a workshop canceled on Tuesday, next Tuesday. We might be doing a webinar instead. But the point is that I do a lot of presentations. And I do a lot of, videos too, if you've been following me for a while. So when I do a presentation that I've never done before, I will visualize it. I'm telling you, I remember I had to go to Iqaluit a few years ago, and I had to do a presentation, a day-long presentation on handling difficult people. Now, I had never done that presentation before. Yes, I had designed the presentation, but I've never facilitated it. So I was a little bit nervous about it. And so for a few days before and for the night before, I closed my eyes and I saw myself going through the presentation. It works for me. And you know that athletes will visualize and go it over and over and over again. I mentioned in another video that the brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. So when you create it in your own imagination, it's helpful. You know, before I went to Mexico, my friends had discouraged me to go to Mexico because of, some areas are dangerous and so on. I faced that fear. That's going to be another video, but I visualized myself arriving to Mexico, and I visualized myself enjoying the experience. Now, I hadn't been there in 20, 30 years, so many years ago. But because I had planned this, I thought I'm going to use visualization to help me prepare for it. So you can use visualization for different things. And if you are setting yourself some goals, you could use visualization as well to prepare yourself and to act as if you already have what it is that you want. So that's it. Tip number 3, use visualization to your advantage, of course, because we can always visualize negative things, but we're not going to go there. Excuse me. So when you're visualizing positive things and you're noticing that this doesn't make any sense anymore, just acknowledge that, but don't judge it. Don't judge it, and just continue enjoying the experience. I'm also going to talk about mindfulness meditation in another one of the videos too, so stay tuned. Lots of great videos coming your way. All of this to help you get your groove back, and maybe to help you as well while you're having to do the self-isolation thing too. This is your coach, your Back in the Groove coach, Linda G. Robert. For more information on my services, and if you'd love to get some coaching, I do encourage you to go to my website at www.backinthegrooveagain.com. If you'd like to meet for a free Back in the Groove Again session, I'd love to meet with you for that too. You'll gain some clarity, we'll discuss some of your goals, and we'll also help you identify some of the things that might be preventing you from really reaching what you want to reach. All right, so on that note, I'm going to let you go, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for tip number 4. Bye-bye now.